when the band started, it was actually Josh and Chad's idea.
Let me think here. It started on the back deck of my wife, and not wife then, but wife now, parents' house, and I was talking to Chad, and
they are married to sisters, and so they were spending a lot of time together.
And I was like, let's start a band.
Now my connection with those two is Josh and I grew up all our lives together. Our parents were best friends before we were even born. So we were sort of born into being best friends.
I had played previously with Nathan in a couple of bands. Funny enough, he tried to try out as a bass player first and sucked so bad. And he was like, well, really, I can sing a little bit. And I was just like, holy crap, I want to play with that guy.
The first thought I had was, this sounds amazing. And the second thought, and this is funny now in retrospect, I thought, why is the singer screaming?
I mean, Nathan has always been just a great performer. You know, he gets on a stage and he owns it. It's like he's always meant to be on a stage, and he can sing too.
Now they wanted to start a band that was very different than the scene we had grown up with. The scene that we grew up in Newark was very atypical of the time. It was very unpolitical. It was very jaded already.
Fuck waiting for a record label. You know, I mean, you think the 90s, that was the cradle of DIY. And we just started booking shows, and we would make tapes in the van running off power, and we would screen t-shirts, and we were just very organic. I mean, we didn't want to wait, you know, because every band is like, oh, I think we're going to get signed. We never cared about that. Like, first of all, why let them have all the power where you can have the power and just make it happen?
But the goal right away of what Josh and I were talking about was, let's start a band and get the fuck out of here.
So, I mean, Chad knows music theory and what notes and fifths and flatted thirds and stuff like that. And I don't know what any of that stuff is.
We all do it together, and maybe when we're writing, I tend to be a little bit more bullheaded, I think is really all it is.
We all appreciate the loyalty and compassion we have for each other that is not given freely to others. You know, I am very, very specific about who I'm loyal to and who gains my trust and my time. And they have my world. Hey, I'm Nathan. This is BOYSETSFIRE. It's our second day of practice and one day before we start our anniversary tour, 20-year anniversary. Feeling very old, but working our asses off, so getting back to work.
Deja Poo.
You just gotta get in a rhythm, man. He's like,
Deja Poo, just so you know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Got it. Yeah. Right. Back in.
Everything falls apart.
I thought we were doing everything to a clip.
we're not telling
that
you
was.
we're comfortable.
Oh, it was? I am so confused on what you're saying then. Okay.
Don't worry.
All right.
Lies get confusing, Nathan.
Right.
That's fucking hilarious.
Can we play it again, please?
Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do it a couple.
I think the 20th anniversary touring, be it here in Europe and in the United States, was initially an idea that our manager Eulogy had.
Chad brought to my attention at some point, I think it was Chad, that the band is going to have their 20th anniversary in 2014. I brought the idea to the band and they were a little hesitant in the beginning.
This was all actually Eulogy's idea. Yes. 3 nights, 3 different records. Of course, he didn't have to learn notes. Right.
Also, there was a lot of discussion going on, which albums to play, where could we even do something like that? Go into a venue and sell it out, like 3 nights in a row. So once they agreed to do that, I tried to set everything else around it, but tried to make everything special. And that's when the idea was born to add an acoustic show, which meant that those guys, on top of learning 3 albums, have to create an acoustic set out of the blue. I was a little nervous because I wasn't sure if enough people would be so into the band that they would follow such a nerdy concept.
Yeah. So it's first day, first show, 2 days of practice. We'll do our best. Something is going fucking crazy.
I didn't touch anything.
All right, it's just like with any project. If you look at the whole, like, oh my God, we got to do all this, you just feel like a scared little mouse.
And I've never in my life done this much singing, this much playing guitars. My fingers are sore from playing so much. We would do 12 hours a day, 10 hours a day, then go back 6 hours, then play a show. Right before the show, we're rehearsing because, oh shit, I don't remember these parts, and
no memory from yesterday.
who the hell was this guy that recorded this stuff or wrote this stuff? I don't even play like this anymore.
I was preparing for the record in Germany where I live, so I couldn't go over to Chad and Josh, who wrote after the Eulogy. I wasn't part of writing that record. So I had to listen to that record, and the sound is deceiving on that record. And I would sit on my kitchen table, like pounding on the table, like, this is nonsense. What is he playing?
After the Eulogy is positive because I never remembered what that album was like. In my head, it was a very heavy hardcore album, and it's totally not. It's bookended by very heavy songs. Everything in between is very melodic, and I have no idea how that got, like, not only in my head, but in the head of our fans. That's like an iconic hardcore album.
A lot of cigarette smoke.
I'm not sure if I can.
You smoking again?
No, well, just from hanging out with you assholes.
You don't have to hang out.
I try not to. But I really want to. But then you go to these places where there's no windows and everyone just sits there sucking down cigarettes. Dude, that first bar we went to killed me.
Yeah.
Second day in Hamburg, we're doing Tomorrow Come Today tonight, and we're gonna fuck it up.
Put this on for me, peasant.
Don't look at the king.
Do not look at the king. Do not make eye contact with the king.
Just do your job, peasant.
There are hundreds more like you. You are nothing.
See?
Yeah.
The nothing fixed it for you. You're welcome.
Yes, I appreciate your nothingness.
Tomorrow Come Today is a hard album for me. Though when we play it live, it is a reinvigorating album for me to play, because I get to surpass all those horrible feelings and look into the faces of people who that album meant something to.
It's very clear, that record, structured, like here is the bridge, and we stop, and then it starts. And so it's been the record where I have to concentrate the most.
Cool.
All
Hey
right,
guys,
guys, have a good
show.
set.
I have a lot of tiger balm on my
Shableson.
face.
Yes, man.
Not my
Thank you.
face.
Have fun. No, I will, but have fun. Oh, someone's in my asshole. Someone entered.
All right. Kiss that neck. Kiss the neck.
Fuck, why do you have to sweat so much?
I mean, at work, motherfucker.
Come on, you're my side. What are you doing?
You know what? Let's all walk.
Good morning.
Morning.
Crab walk. You know crab walk?
What is the difference between the...
Oh, yeah. There might be glass on the ground somewhere. Got it. It's on my thumb. Oh yeah.
Not tough enough.
Everything's gonna get on the ground. We can do it at the venue.
Fuck you. No one calls me chicken.
You don't create a dynamic. The album has its own dynamic, and you play it from front to back.
Third day in Hamburg. It's the Misery Index. We did an acoustic show earlier that went okay, so I feel a little better about tonight.
Smashed it.
Especially I was
Cheers.
outstanding as the spiritual advisor of the acoustic show.
Indeed. Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thank you.
The first note is open.
Yeah.
And then
The
it's
chorus?
huh? Yeah.
Chorus?
Yeah.
So I don't know the parts all the time.
Okay. After Eulogy.
Actually, I think about that, and it sucked.
So, at least for that song.
Because I don't know where the
Yeah, just so I know.
I'm gonna go that way.
All right, hey.
Is it a birthday or anniversary? Birthday.
Birthday. Well, I'm coming with you.
Oh yeah, we're going on that side. Okay,
Oh,
you're
Terry,
right.
we can make out over there for a
Have
while.
fun, man. Have fun. Enjoy it.
Oh, you're coming over there, or you going here?
What's that?
Have fun, man.
Me?
We did the work. Now it's time to enjoy it. Right?
I've been doing this for 20 fucking years. We couldn't hope for a better birthday party. This is fucking amazing.
I think the Misery Index nights are just becoming very, very special.
It's hard for me to sleep after we play that album.
I think that when we wrote and released that record, that was kind of, it was really it was a statement on who we were.
To me, that album is a ritual in and of itself.
Misery Index, and it's a weird record, I think, but I love that record very much because, I mean, it's kind of who we are. You know, it's this weird mix of beauty, pain, and weirdness, and it's the Misery Index.
Can you take that?
We got a happy birthday card.
I like that a lot. It's really sweet. From Tim.
Sure, we got a happy birthday card. Who's it from?
Tim. Not terrible.
Oh, okay.
Tim, the guy with the green
Oh,
hat.
it's a music.
Bring your green hat. We're going streaking.
Honestly, feeling pretty overwhelmed right now and completely satisfied. And you know, you get that rare moment where you're like, what is this feeling? Oh, that's right, it's happiness. So I feel pretty fucking good right now.
Hey, sweethearts. We're at the hotel. Time to check in.
Like for real?
I want my friends to have a good time, period. But I have the best time when I'm sober. And I have the best time when I had a nice workout in the morning. And I have the best time when I go to bed before midnight. So that's what I do.
I have ibuprofens.
They're outside.
Hi, we're in Cologne. We're at the beginning of the 3 dates, as we just did in Hamburg. Getting hit in the face with Advil. And we're gonna play
Details here, everyone.
a fucking show.
This is what happens when Gene Shaw's in town, motherfuckers.
Oh man, Gene Shaw has that shit on lockdown.
You drink.
Yeah, I'm known for my rip arounds or Josh rips. Well, I am definitely the most social. I don't like sitting around backstage. Like I'll be like, all right, this is boring. I'm gonna go out. So I go out into festivals or whatever, and I just meet people and I talk. So with that, yeah, I definitely am, I guess, the most party guy.
Also ich gehe hoch. I'll take it.
As you probably know, we are about to play some acoustic songs for you. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't be sitting on the floor. Makes sense.
Hippies.
Bunch of hippies. Thank you for coming to the BOYSETSFIRE Coffee House.
He said one more song. We have several more songs, Oizy. But just play one.
Play something tough.
Rookie. Let's do after the eulogy.
Play Rookie.
These are the smallest little words I've ever seen in my life. I do have notes here. Because you people make me nervous when we do acoustic sets. It's much easier to sing when you have a very loud band behind you. Really, dude?
I've never played this song.
And that's when Nathan went crazy and ran out of the room. I remember the day fondly. Lines drawn, and then I fucked the song up.
Fucking tight.
What the hell's going on out there? So excited. This is embarrassing.
Everybody take a knee. Take a
Worst
knee.
show ever. Hey, Nathan.
Yes.
Before every show, we have to kiss someone's neck. Generally, it's Chris Rakis, who you'll meet later.
No. It's been Gene for a long time.
It has been Ben. Well, first it was.
But now you're in deep trouble, my friend. Fuck Chris Rakis.
But tonight, and while we have Gene, it's Gene. When we don't have anyone else,
Misery
we have
Index.
Oizy.
You're introing the
I don't know what I'm doing. You said, what are we doing?
What are you doing?
We're toasting.
Oh, cool.
We've been around for 20 years. We deserve it by now. It should be fine, right? Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, guys.
The fucking face did like this to me. I was like, you know, like the fucking mask. He did like. I was like, I'm gonna get fucking Dimebag here.
You're killing it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get Dimebag.
There's a youthful stupidity that can at times be very endearing, but at times be very obnoxious and be very non-productive.
These people. Oh, it's amazing, isn't
What
it?
are these fucking
Much.
Are we leasing? Are we Boise bowling?
I don't like this idea.
From a tour manager's perspective, I'm really opposed to this idea.
But
I gotta do it. I hate this.
Severe. Strike?
I have to say, yes! I'm really opposed to this idea, but let's do it.
Like that.
Yeah, just leave it back.
He's the man in charge, so if he likes it, it's okay.
One of the high points was I can remember getting paid $100 for a show, and like we were blown away. We were yelling in the van and so excited, and it was just magic. You know, it was like, this is golden.
We have such crazy stories, and craziness doesn't really happen anymore when when Oise keeps us on a very strict schedule. But I mean, there was a magic back then.
Funny enough, also, we used to pay ourselves $3 a day, and it's really hard to live on $3 a day. So we used to say back then, you can either eat a burrito or buy a pack of cigarettes. That was it, because they were about that much back then. One day, I'm not sure who, one of us had the brilliant idea to dine and ditch.
So so you would eat a meal at a restaurant and then run away. So we did that a lot, and karmically speaking, we only did it when we had to. We had money, we didn't do it to keep the karma at bay.
We booked on that check and got in the van, and I've never had like a feeling like that of being so sated and comfortable and like, oh my God, we can eat now. We've found a way to eat, which is so wrong in a way, but
and we never did it at places where waitresses had to pay for it. Now it's just a little more calm. You know, I mean, it's totally fun, but it's just a little more calm. I almost died and I was almost paralyzed, so, I look at every day like an absolute gift, and it annoys everyone. Like, my wife is like, would you stop, please? You may look exactly like. It's a private time. Hold on, as you can see, Oise is now yelling at us. It's 6 a.m. We got in around 2:30, got up around 5, and now we make the long trip to Berlin.
3 shows.
An der Ampel rechts abbiegen, dann in die nächste Straße links abbiegen.
Oh. Tell us everything. Oh, Bernie, no, tell nothing. There's a camera. Don't say it.
This is the greatest day. Me and Steve Smith.
All the cliches you hear about road crews and roadies or techs on tour are not true, but they are actually very deep and philosophical people. Follow me to this workbench of Ralph, one of our guitar techs. This I just found here. This is what he reads while we play or while we rehearse. What do you think? But I put it back before he sees it. Smart guy.
Move, important people. I'm trying to do shit here.
Play the one record, smoking bowl. He's like, there's too much.
It's all choruses.
And then he's like, I just feel like.
I really love playing music with these guys on stages around the world, or in a practice room, or in a recording studio, but not as much because that's way harder.
The band is, as you know, very different, like in the sense that each person has very different like philosophical ideas and very different lifestyles even. And I think that's what makes BOYSETSFIRE click and tick.
I often see my position as to be one, if there's ever a conflict, I say, okay, well, let's take a step back, and I try to mediate or whatever, and try to be the voice of reason. That'll probably make them mad if they see this, but they probably won't watch this DVD.
His friends in the house. One is friend I constantly have to deal with.
We don't usually put out viewpoints that we don't all sort of at least agree on. Probably one of the reasons why we don't talk so much between songs and explain what our songs are about, because I've found that it's a lot better when people are able to bring their own ideology into it and take it for themselves. And I think it's actually worked a lot, not only for our fans, but for us, in that people are now allowed to interpret it the way they need to for themselves, and it's made them feel more a part of the band without necessarily having to have our same ideology.
The band is now doing what a band's supposed to do, like play good shows, create art, create good music. I mean, the band obviously does a lot of shit work, like practice for 7 hours a day, or you know, all that stuff, travel really long, and the practicing days were really hard and I think very frustrating for everybody. And then pulling into town brings us to the next level, the shows themselves. The first day is a nightmare. I mean, you come in, you have to set everything up. The band needs to rehearse until 5 minutes before doors. And then they sat backstage, practiced again without amplifying, and then walked out on stage and played the songs they've been practicing until 2 minutes before they walked out on stage. And just all of that was such a logistical mountain, Mount Everest. Like to climb that was really, really hard. And to make it even harder, then we decided to document the whole thing because it was so special and we felt like it should be documented. So we even added a camera crew to the whole thing. Organizing the camera crew, organizing the recording, the live recording of the tracks, it became more and more like the monster became so much bigger than what I thought it would be in the beginning. But I think we pulled it off.
What happened to us? Where's your anger? Where's your fucking rage? What a death is this us? Where's your anger? 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 Where's your fucking rage? Where's your anger? Where's your fucking rage? Where's your anger? Where's your fucking rage? Disgusting, disgusting, ignorance, one number, fucking the words, with good intention, one less we rise, one less we rise, 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 rise. Run! 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 Run!
Austria?
Oh, I'm
Germany.
sorry. There you go.
Austria? This is not a joke. This is not. I'm not joking. Open the fucking door.
Yep. I'm back here.
Is everyone in?
Yeah. Great. Chuckleberry. Josh.
Chuckles doesn't need a passport. He works for
Bernie.
DuPont. That's kind of like the mafia, right, Chuckles?
Yep. That was a pleasant interaction with the local authorities.
It was not so bad, right?
Yeah. I had worse.
But his teeth were really the worst part.
Oh my god, he was the Freddie Mercury of law enforcement. No doubt about that.
We need to talk to him about his lifestyle. A couple of wrong choices being made.
I would just leave quietly.
So I have a question too. What happened to your teeth? All of a sudden I stand there, spread eagle. I'll show you what happened to my teeth.
Nathan's weaknesses could be boiled down to passion for where he is and what he's doing then.
What are we doing with this guy?
Could you bring me right there?
He probably, I think, can't stand the idea. There's no way for him to practice anywhere. Can't stand the idea of practicing, I don't think.
Nathan is almost never around for sound check or any kind of practice. And Chad always wants to practice way too much. So those are the things that I'm like, I like to have a schedule. Say we do practice from 1 to 2. Can it be 1 to 2? Not 2 to whenever. That's just me.
It's hard to rehearse sometimes when not everyone's 100%, but that's okay. And when I say 100%, I mean invested in what you're doing. Because the ultimate goal is to sound good, and I mean, we're a band.
I am at this moment going through my notes on lyrics, and I think I've gotten to the point now at the last 3 days where I don't really need them. I just keep them up there to sort of feel a little more secure about it. So I guess that's a step in the right direction.
I mean, the low point was definitely the dealing with the major label agony for Tomorrow Come Today. Before that, like, just hard, like they would suggest us using writers that was just horrible. Just terrible. That was a low point because it was depressing because we'd be like, we have all these songs we want to record.
I really had a case of the ass with the way that record sounds. I had real reservations, and my band sat me down and said, they said you're not welcome in the studio anymore. You're bumming the vibe out, I think was how it was put to me. Singled out, now I'm not allowed in the studio. And no one goes, but that's fucked up, dude. I got your back.
The low point for me was watching them almost fall apart in the process between Tomorrow Come Today and Misery Index.
I think I quit the band 13 times in those 3 years.
And they would say, we don't hear a single. So we would be like, well, what the fuck is a single? I don't know how to write a single. Like, what does that mean?
writing not good enough, writing not good enough. We thought those songs were really good, and they didn't see any quality song there. Requiem's all right.
You can have the artistic freedom to write all the songs you want, but if the record label pulls the plug on your funds, you're fucked. There's nothing you can do about it. They were just sitting in Delaware writing more songs and couldn't get out of the situation.
Like, okay, well, we think it's good enough, and we really would like to put this out as is. So they were like, okay, well, we'll drop you. I was done with music, and it was just probably, I think, because of the business of music, and we had put so much emphasis on doing this, that we just burned out.
I think the break we took, well, there's two ways to look at it. One way was how we communicated it was stupid. And because we said, and I specifically said, we will never play again. There is an interview of me on YouTube where I say bands that break up and then come back should be shot in the head.
I went to work. I literally stopped playing guitar, stopped thinking about it, and for 2 years I didn't play guitar, actually, nothing.
For me, it felt very necessary to really cut it off at that point. To say, no, we're done, no more. To kind of have that inner freedom of like, I'm free now, I can do whatever I want. And we did made that decision as best friends. It was not because we argued. It was nothing like that. It was a long walk in Prague on tour where that first came up. And we were just talking about like, hey, what do you think? We might have outlived all of our dreams and expectations by far. Where do we go from here?
No.
So I am in charge of mixing the drinks in this band because I make sure soberly that the drinks are up to par with what I expect of the performance of my bandmates. So, you take a bucket of ice, right? Then,
Come on, people!
because this is really important to keep electrolytes and all kinds of good stuff in your Festival 8 because you know, you want to be up partying for a little minute there. So you need all the good stuff. Look at this. Like that. Just for the taste. Nothing else. A little vodka. Wait for it. Wait for it, man. I'm sorry. And now, what we'll do is this. Testicles of bulls. Nathan knows a lot about it.
I know a lot about testicles of bulls.
They give you the strength of 10 men. What we'll do is this.
I just agreed to knowing a lot about bull testicles.
You
I
did.
don't know why.
And then you do this. When you have someone that you really care for.
You gotta mix it real quick.
Yeah. How is it?
That's a damn good Festival 8. Oh my god, dude. All that sugar?
I don't even care. I don't even care.
I'm crazy like that motherfucker. Oh, whoa, come on, buddy.
Getting dropped by Wind Up was a high point because I swear to God, we wrote Misery Index in like a month. Songs poured out of us. And we had this everything goes kind of policy too. We had horns on it, cellos, plus just straight up pop songs, but also like heaviness. So really had fun with that record.
But it was a miserable piece of shit to give birth to.
We number one got together to have fun. Number two, we decided that we would never break up again.
There's just acceptance, full acceptance of everyone, and you still little jabs here or there, but it's out of love and respect.
I know, right?
I think that speaks volumes to each one of us, where we know where we all stand. I'll be there tomorrow. There's no question.
We are obviously an entity that needs to keep going, and to not keep going would be to sell ourselves short.
Oh,
Yeah, that's happening.
worth every penny.
Here's your guy. What I do is I generally throw down the pre-show mix. You know, I got my wheels of steel here. What I like to do is catch the vibe of everyone, you know what I'm saying? Like, catch what we're feeling, put it in music, bring it back on us. You know what I mean? Get us fired up. Fired up!
We are fired up.
We're fired up. So what I like to do is I play a little Tupac, my West Coast homie.
He's still alive.
And then what I like to do is I throw in a little XTC, Ballad of Peter Pumpkinhead, you know what I'm saying?
I love this song. And if there's anything to be said about XTC, total street, bro. Total street.
You don't get streeter.
You don't get streeter.
Hell yeah, a real man finally.
You feel great tomorrow. We have 3 more. I don't like stitching.
So now we went back to smaller clubs, and it has been some of the most intense and amazing shows that we've ever been part of.
I think playing live and having that communion, that back and forth with people that is still amazingly enough, still vibrant and doesn't feel stale, I think that's what keeps us going.
I would say what has changed is a marked decision to be positive. What I would like to see is kind of where what we've done recently over the last few years. Play when we can and when we want to and when it's fun for us, and write when we can, and what we do is write alone. That's what I would like to do, just continue being independent and doing what we want, the way we want to do it, and do it as a family.
I really believe that was one of the biggest lessons that we learned, is how to be us. And everyone that was there along the way that either supported us or those who came out against us and pushed us to be even more independent. It will be done on our terms, and it will be done in the way that we feel it needs to be done. We are done being controlled by labels. We are done being controlled by our fans. We are done being controlled by anything but ourselves internally. And that's what I believe will keep us going until we are all dead and gone.
The finale! The grand finale. Last show in Vienna. Hold on, I gotta put my...
What you guys don't know, I booked another 20 shows. Yeah! High five! Stoked?
It's been have fun, man. Let's do it.
Where's Chris Rakis?
Chris Rakis! Get in here! Kiss the neck!
Get your kisses. I'm try and go on the lift, man. You're a little weird.
Chris, go to a stage where people can kiss your neck.
One more time.
Have a good show. Hurry up. Hurry up. Have a good show.
I want to go.
20 years, way to be old, man. Yeah. If they can get out of this. Are you happy? Are you finally happy
every
now?
time
Never happy.
Can we go back to playing Rookie 20 times? Hey, but that record always takes it over the top.
It is the
Always.
one.
Without fail.
Can make the ass drop. Now I'm taking the face.
I tour with a lot of bands, I tour manage a lot of bands, but I hardly see a connection that's that intense and it's also that honest.
I actually think that our passion for music has stayed the same or increased ever so slightly, but the passion for the songs from when we wrote them to when we're playing most of them now has remained pretty solid. It's fun to play them. We really back them. I mean, they came out of they're like our kids, you know? That has stayed the same, I think, the passion for that.
I don't know if I long for the old days as much as I revere them. I look back and I say, here's the journey we've come on. And I don't necessarily want to go back to any of it, but I respect it because of where we've come now.
It's an indescribable feeling to look out and see just abject this joy in people's eyes. You know, just like absolutely everyone there together. There's no other feeling that can compare. I think there will be a day that I'll write a book about it. The final chapter hasn't been written yet, though.
Titties. I have children.
They make
I'm
a bonus
father.
they will ruin all of our lives.
With titties.
Bernie and Eulogy, just to get a little bit more higher in the charts.
Yeah.
They will ruin our families.
Just to sell 4 more DVDs.